Hey cats, what's happening? You ever meet that guy that always thinks he's a tough guy? Has to always try to prove himself, the one-upper. I'm better than you. I'm tougher than you. Brought back a memory of a trip quite a while ago that I took to Chillicothe to the Easy Riders Rodeo. Don't know if you've ever been to an Easy Riders Rodeo, but they got some other rodeos, and I'm not talking about cowboy rodeos either, but the motorcycle type. Uh, little backwoods type rallies, and they can get pretty rowdy. It's kind of like a free for all party, and that's the way Chillicothe is. Well, I had never been down there before, but the club I was riding with, the guys I was riding with, they said, well, we're going down to Chillicothe for the weekend, and it was Labor Day weekend, and if you want to go, you can ride with us. So I did. We all rode down. I think there was probably a dozen of us that rode down there, and we set up camp in one specific area there. The club captain told us, he said, I'd prefer if you just leave your bikes here. It's pretty rowdy out there. People wreck their bikes. They get in trouble real quick. People get hurt. He said, I prefer if you just leave your bikes here at camp. You want to go do whatever you want. You want to drink. You want to walk around in the crowd. You want to have fun. Do whatever. But I'm suggesting just leave your bikes parked. That's pretty much what we did, and I went out walking around. Now, at the Chillicothe, Ohio, the Easy Riders is held at the Ross County Fairgrounds. It's not far from the prison, the state prison there, and when you ride to the event, you ride right past the prison, and all the prisoners are standing out there in their orange jumpsuits waving at all the bikes when they go by. Well, we rode in there, we paid our admission, we went in, we set up camp, and the camp is set up outside the fairground area in what would be the parking areas, the big parking fields. Inside the fairgrounds, the fenced-in area, they had entertainment, they had a stage there, the grandstand show, they had different events going on, bike drags and things like that. They had vendors set up inside that area where you could buy food. You could, get T-shirts or leathers or all. I think they had a bike show there where you could enter a custom motorcycle. That was inside the fenced-in compound. Everything outside of that was used as a campground. And in that campground, there was kind of like a paved, big, huge paved oval loop that went around the area where we were all camping. It's kind of a first come first served deal. The first people that get there get to choice campsites, which all kind of line along that paved route, because during the event people tend to parade around and around this loop. You'll see four-wheelers, golf carts, special floats or rigs that people have come up with, motorcycles, choppers, customs, trikes, even people walking. They go round and around and around, like 24/7. It's just that the parade doesn't stop. So you could just stand alongside of the roadway there and just watch them keep coming by. And a lot of people have cameras, and then you see some pretty crazy carnal stuff too, I'm telling you. My eyes were really opened up. I never knew that people could behave like that in public, but I saw some things that some of the stuff I wouldn't want to see again, but I really saw some interesting things, there's no doubt about that. A lot of open nudity and even sexual content that was kind of mind-blowing. But that's the Chillicothe Easy Riders Rally, and they do that annually every year. Well, we were there. Okay, let's go back. We were there. We set up camp, and the captain said, "Prefer to just leave your bikes here, not to ride them around." So I went out hiking around. I had a beer sock that I slung over my back that held 3 or 4 beers and kept them cold. And that way I could, have a bush light in my hand as I was walking around there and keep myself, well, let's put it this way, I was pretty happy all day long. Well, after you got tired of walking around there and ran out of beer, I'd have to go back to camp. And one of the guys took up the job of being the camp chef. And he was a pretty good cook. I mean, he cooked us up burgers and all kinds of food. We were eating good, put it that way. We were eating real good. And there was a guy there that was what I initially spoke about, pretty cocky. He thought he was a real tough guy. He was muscular, there was no doubt about that. Kind of short and walked around with his arms out like he, been working out. But he had a real cocky attitude too, and he let everybody know it. Almost like one of them guys that has a chip on your shoulder that he tries to intimidate. Well, I didn't let anybody intimidate me, I know that game. I mean, reality probably has a real small one, but he has to try to prove himself to act like a big man. Yeah, I got his number. So he just had to ride his bike around the party. And he petitioned the captain. The captain said, "Look, if you want to ride, you go ahead, but you're on your own. Don't come crying to me if something happens." So he gets ready to saddle up, and he says, "Who's going with me?" Well, yeah, I stepped up to the plate. I said, "Heck, I'll go for a ride." So I jumped on my fat boy here and fired it up. Well, he was trying to act like a hot shot, and as we rode around there, he would, rev up the motor and dump the clutch and do a little, like a little 3-foot burnout there on the asphalt, and okay, I just followed along there, and he looked back at me at one time and he said, "What's the matter? You don't know how to do a burnout?" Okay, I thought I got to show this guy up. Well, I came upon this one spot on the asphalt where they had somehow been spraying water, so it was a little wet there. Okay, this is a good opportunity for me. So I rolled up there and got in that wet spot there. Never stopped, just kept right on moving. Just throttled this sucker up, dumped the clutch out, and kind of leaned forward up on the tank and lit that back tire up. Well, that thing just started rolling, and I just kind of rolled with it. It just kind of did a little, did that little sideways fishtail, and then it kind of started coming back the other way. And I'll bet you I smoked that tire for about 30 feet up that asphalt path. With the help from a little water on the pavement, get the motion going there, get the RPMs up on the back wheel. That little boy was pretty impressed. In fact, he was kind of amazed because I think I showed him up way more than he ever expected. So we got back to camp, and he kind of mellowed out a little bit. He ended up being pretty cordial to me after that, and although I wouldn't say him and I were best buddies, we got along okay. We had an understanding. Don't try to one-up me. Anyway, that was my first experience at Chillicothe Easy Riders Rodeo, which was a very, very wild event. I'll probably talk about it more in some other stories, but for now, that's where I'm going to leave this one. I wonder why my back tire gets bald, huh? No, I don't smoke it off anymore. The last video I showed you with when I was cleaning the garage floor over here, I think it's under my truck. There's a big old black spot where I pushed the front tire of the bike up against the back wall here, and I just started smoking the back tire till I filled this whole garage up with smoke. I had the camera sitting out in the driveway there, and I somewhere back, way back in the archives, I got a video of me smoking the tire off on this old broad here, but I don't do that anymore. I don't like to abuse my motorcycle. So there you go, cats. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed the story. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button. Share it with your friends. Hey, take a look at this. You got to hear this guy's story. Yeah, share it. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you are a subscriber, hit that notification bell. You'll get a little tip on the next videos coming up. And I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the support. Not only for me, but for V, my wife. She needs a lot of support, and I appreciate everything, all the prayers you guys give her too. That being said, guys, until next time, ride hard.